Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anh Thu Do from the Vietnamese community. Thanks a lot for taking your time to come today, especially before earlier today we have like a big thunderstorm, and then I heard that traffic is not really good either. So we really appreciate you taking the time to coming during this weather and then on the weekend. So first of all, I would like to say a few things. The agenda today is we welcome, first of all, we welcome the candidate for U.S. Congressional District 11, and he will do the speech. And then after the speech, we will have the Q&A, question and session for about 15 to 20 minutes. And any of you who like to ask questions, please raise your hand, and then we will bring the microphone to you so you can ask the question. After the Q&A, we will take group pictures. And following the group pictures, Mr. Stewart Whitson will go around some of the store at Eden Center to meet with the business owner today. So that will conclude the program for today. So first of all, to start the program, I would like to ask Daniel Doe to come to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
All right, please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Daniel. Next, I would like to introduce the next U.S. Congressman, District 11, Mr. Stewart Whitson.
Thank you so much, Anto. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Stu Whitson, and I'm running to serve you in Virginia's 11th Congressional District. I see a lot of familiar faces, so I know you've heard the background, but I'll give the same spiel every time because I want to do a few things. Number one, I want to tell you about my background and why I think I'm qualified to serve you in this position, because it's important, right? We have a once-in-a-generation opportunity to actually pick who represents us in this district, and so you should have a say in that. You should know who that person is. The other thing I want to talk about is why this is a winnable race for us, right? For 17 years, or 16 years, Jerry Conley held this seat, right? So we were used to losing. And so I think it's hard for Republicans to see this position and realize what a big opportunity we have. And so I want to talk about that real quick. And then the last thing I want to talk about is, what are the big issues I'm going to focus on? But number one, first and foremost, I'm here to listen to you. So I've come out here at Ando's invitation to come out and talk to business owners and to talk to you. And I want to hear what are the big issues that are important to you. So as soon as I get done, let's hang out, let's talk through those issues. So real quick, I'm an Army combat veteran. I spent a decade in the FBI working international terrorism. I was also a member of the FBI SWAT team where I performed high-risk arrests along the southern border. So I've seen firsthand the dangers that come when you have a wide-open border and you allow drug cartels and drugs and murderers, etc., to come across the border and come into our communities. I've seen what that looks like, and it's terrifying. It's something we have to take serious. I'm a proud husband. I've been married to my wife for 20 years. We have 5 school-aged children. And so one of our biggest focuses of our campaign is our kids, right? So it's not just their future. It's not just keeping them safe in our community, but it's also stopping what's going on behind closed doors in our schools. And so the left, radical elements have taken charge of the Democrat Party. And what's happened is they're pushing behind closed doors this woke gender ideology on young kids. They're essentially preying upon kids that maybe have low self-esteem or whatever, and they're pushing these things on kids when they're not ready to make these kind of decisions. And so that's unacceptable. That is not something that should be a political issue. That's something that every single person should think is unacceptable and should stop right now. And so that's a big focus. The other thing with having 5 kids is the importance of education, right? Education is everything. And so right now what's happening when we go into our communities, we're not given a lot of choices. Wherever we live, whatever school is there, whatever policies they decide to go with, that's kind of what we're stuck with. And I think that's broken. I think what we need to do is, instead of the federal government taking money and pushing that down to the schools and letting them just spend that on whatever they want, instead that money should go to the parents. And then the parents should be able to decide which school they go to. If the parents love the public school they're at, then they should go to that school. If they want to go to have a different choice, homeschool or do something else, they should be able to do that as well. And so that's a big focus of our campaign. The other big thing is fixing the economy. So right now, taxes, I mean, raise your hand, are taxes out of control in Fairfax County? Does anyone think you're not paying enough taxes and you want to pay more, right? It's nonstop. And who is behind most of those taxes you've seen over the last 4 years? It's the guy I'm running against. Literally, property taxes, he's part of that. He's the reason you have higher property taxes. Every year for the last 4 years, property taxes have gone up on my opponent's watch. Well, he's in a position to affect that. The other thing, the meals tax. So every time you go out to eat, any of these restaurants where they prepare food, right now there's a 6% sales tax that's added on there, thanks to my opponent. But that wasn't enough for him. He's added 4% on top of that 6%, right? And that was even though we voted twice and said, no, we do not want a meals tax. He did it anyway. And so now every time you go out to eat, it's an extra 10% added onto your bill. And so what does that mean? That means you buy a little less, right? You maybe don't go out to eat as much. What does that mean for the business owners around here if you're not going out to eat as much? They're not making as much money. They don't have money to give to their employees. And so that is the big problem with the person I'm running against, is it is never enough. He will never stop taxing. And if we send him to the federal level, what do you think he's going to do there? He's just going to tax us even more. And so we have to stop it. We need to stop this nonsense. The other thing that's going on at the federal level is the reckless spending, right? We saw it on all the news when President Trump came in and they started looking at all the line items, what they were spending on. It's horrible, right? And so I always bring up the example of the transgender comic book because I think it is so telling. So $32,000 on a transgender comic book in Peru, right? Who reads comic books? Little kids, right? So little kids read comic books, and we're spending $32,000 to write books for little kids to try to encourage them to go down a route that could change their lives forever in a horrible way when they're not ready to do that. Why are we doing that? We are not just wasting our money, we are hurting other people. It is not good for the country. And so all of that needs to stop. And so the wasteful spending needs to stop. We need to deregulate and make it easier for small businesses to thrive. And we need to promote work over welfare. And so one of the things the left is doing is they're trying to push able-bodied people, healthy men, onto government dependency. Because why? Because they know if they get them hooked on government dependency, then they'll have their vote, right? But what they forget is that really hurts those people, right? It hurts them and it hurts their families. And so we need to promote policies that help able-bodied men and able-bodied adults get into the workforce while preserving the programs for the truly needy that they're designed for, which is the elderly, the disabled, women in poverty, children in poverty. That's who we want to protect. And then able-bodied adults we want to push back out into the workforce and help them get a job. And so that's a big focus of our campaign. And so why is this race different than the other races? We are in a special election. And so early voting has already started. A lot of people that we're going to talk to today are going to have no idea this election is going on. And so that is a huge advantage for us, because that means if we do a better job than the other guys of getting out and letting them know that this election's going on and getting them to the polls, then we can actually win. And once we win the special election, then we can, doing the office, doing the job, they'll see the good things that the Republicans can bring, that conservatives can bring, and they'll keep us in office and they'll keep us going. And so this is our once-in-a-generation opportunity to take back this seat. And if we don't take back this seat, guess what? He's going to have it for 25 years. No joke. He's not going anywhere beyond this. He got this position because he rode Connolly's coattails, was his lackey, and so now he's in this position, and he is not going to go anywhere beyond this because Connolly can't give him any more positions after this. So he's going to be there for 25 years, and we're going to be stuck with him unless we step up and fight now. And so with that, I'll stop. I want to turn it over for questions, but I'll just end with this. If you're tired of being silenced by the left, if you're tired of the reckless spending by the left, if you're tired of them pushing the woke gender ideology on our kids behind closed doors, then vote for me, Stewart Whitson. If you want someone who will fight for you, who will fight for our families, and who will fight for our country, then please vote for me, Stewart Whitson. Thank you so much, and God bless.
Thank you, Stewart. So due to the tight schedule, we're just gonna have like a couple questions. If anybody wants to ask question, please raise your hand, and I'll bring the microphone to you. Thank you.
So you're going to be in debate tomorrow night? What's your plan for the debate?
Be honest, be authentic. Like, that's it. Like, I'll tell you that, like, answering the debate questions is really easy if you just answer from the heart and answer the truthful. And I think everyone's going to see. Raise your hand if you're going to the debate tomorrow, by the way. Everyone check it out. So the key is, so this is going to be a debate at Reston Communities, or where's Reston Community Center? In what's it called? Hunter Woods, right? So Reston Community Center in Hunter Woods. And so what it is at least 200 people in the audience are going to be allowed to be there. They're going to have some questions that are coming from the moderator that people in the crowd can ask, and then the moderator will ask the questions. And so it's super important that we get a lot of supporters at this, because we all know. We all know that if we don't, and they're filled with the other side, they're going to cheer and pretend as if answers are solid with or not, and so we want a lot of friendlies. But my point is this: tomorrow you're going to hear me speak from the heart. I'm going to be asked questions. I'm going to actually answer those questions with some policy background and some detail. You're going to see my opponent just talking with talking points, right? He's going to say lines that aren't going to answer any questions. And so my plan tomorrow is just be authentic, lean in. My whole campaign has been unapologetically America first. And that's not meant to be in a cruel, mean way. It just means America first is common sense, right? Like, you are electing me to represent Virginia's 11th district. I'm going to put you first. That's what the America First policy is you put the country first before you put outside interests. So we're going to lean into that, lean into those positions, and we'll see how it goes. So excited. Thanks for that question.
Yes, I would like to add a few things about the forum tomorrow. It's going to be tomorrow evening at like he mentioned, at the Reston Community Center. I already sent email to anybody who is my email group, and then also I posted on Facebook. If some of you don't have the information, please, there's a sign up sheet over there. Please sign up, and then I will get the information out. You need to register first before you can come attend the event. So I hope some of you can come. Thank you.
At what time? Tell everybody.
At 6 p.m.
Okay,
tomorrow at the Reston Community Center.
Thank you.
And there's a link for you to register in advance. Thank you. Next question.
Thank you. Since we have a largely immigrant community here, legal immigrant community, I wanted to know your summary of your views on immigration policy.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think sort of real simply, for people that do things the legal way, it should be easier. And for people that do things the illegal way, it should be harder. In the most simple way. And so it's just very simple. If you don't follow the rules to come in to the country, how can we expect you to follow the other laws? Like, it's just, and so that's just very reasonable. And so the problem with the past administration is they had a wide open border, and they actually encouraged people to violate the law to come in. And I'll tell you this, my opponent put a policy in place that forbid Fairfax County employees from supporting ICE on detainer requests. And so what does that mean? That means when really violent people who are here illegally are arrested, they're in the county jail. ICE, which is the federal government, can put this request to the county jail that says, hey, wait, don't release them. We'll come pick them up and we'll deport them. And so my opponent forbid them from doing that. And the result was more than 1,000 hardened criminals who broke the law. So they didn't just break the law coming into the country, but they committed rape, or committed violent crimes, or theft, or burglary, were just released back into the county. And so that's the difference in our positions. Is I care about the legal immigrants, because guess what? All this violence, the drugs, the MS-13, who are the communities that are getting impacted the most by that? And a lot of times it's our legal immigrant community that's being impacted. I've spoken to Hispanic mothers who MS-13, gang members have come into the community. They're pretending they're high schoolers, so they lie about their age. They're in the high school and they're really 20-year-old men. They're recruiting the young men who are legal immigrants into their gangs and recruiting them into a life of crime. And so all this to say is, like, there may be some good people who are taking advantage of the sanctuary policies, but there's a lot more bad people that are, and they're hurting the good people in our community. And so I want to get that out and take care of that right away. So thank you so much for that question.
Okay, thanks, Stewart. So next we would like to, one more question? Is that one more question?
So I have a question for you. Fairfax County became a sanctuary county. What are you going to do about that?
Well, so at the federal level, I can't make them change their policy, but I can do things to encourage them to change their policy. And so there's 3 avenues that I can think of off the top of my head. Number one is use of federal funding. And so you can deny federal funding if they don't tighten those policies, and so that can strong arm them and encourage them to do something they might not otherwise. The second thing I can do is help pass more aggressive criminal statutes at the federal level that allows federal officers to come in and do the job of people like Descano, who their sole mission for their position is supposed to be enforcing the laws and keeping us safe, and they refuse to do that. And so if they refuse to do that, then the federal government has a responsibility to come in and try to make people safe. And so you can tighten up criminal laws and the penalties around those, around the most heinous crimes like rape, murder, etc., and give federal officers some leeway. And then the third thing I would do is aggressive oversight. And so aggressive oversight, the reason that would work is if I can bring these people in, have hearings, gather the information, then I can work in close partnership with principled attorneys generals like A.G. Miyares. And so I can provide him the information from oversight hearings, and then he can use that information to use his authority to go after them. And so a lot of times, a lot of the stuff they're doing is actually civil rights violations too. So when they're the way they're like behaving to some communities and hurting to certain communities, there may be some avenues that way as well. So anyway, so that's how I would do it. It's aggressive oversight, strengthen those penalties, and then use funding mechanisms to drive behavior. So thank you.
Right, thank you, everyone. So the next one, we will take a group picture, but before that, I would like to say a few words that we take the group picture, and then Stewart will come around some of the store, visit some of the store, and Trevor here will be the leader. Can you follow him? He's going to lead us to some of the store around Eden Center. So I would like to invite everybody from the audience to come over here and pick a sign right there and then take a group picture. Thank you.
And let me just say one more time, thank you so much to my friend Ando too. Thank you so much for your help. And thank you for organizing this. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. All right. Yep, I'll see you soon. Thank you. Yeah, everyone, please come join us, please. Everyone. Hey, group picture.
Maybe can we go outside? It's better outside.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Success.
Yeah.
Ồ, lấy ở ngoài kia kìa.
Ở ngoài mới sáng chứ đây
Đứng ở trong tối.